Here we are, the end of Let's Get On With It Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. On the front end, I want to say I enjoyed doing this series. So, I enjoyed doing this series. I appreciate you folks coming along for the ride. Commenters were occasionally informative and or entertaining. I'm also glad I spoiled more of this game for viewers than any commenter. What a nice treat that was. I didn't even have a zero tolerance for spoilers policy on the series. People just played along. Good work, team, on being respectful to others. You certainly had your chances. I reckon it helps that I had a grasp of what I was doing here. The blind playthroughs tend to attract, we'll call it exuberant overhelping. No problems this time, huzzah! Also, fewer people know how Redemption plays. Imagine if this had been a Bloodline series. That game is significantly more popular and I know it less well. My comments would have read like, Fritz LaCroix killed Han Solo! Jeanette is in a throuple with Beckett and Fat Larry! How dare you leave behind the tree diamond where you find Monterey and Tsar! But I jest, and I digress. Let's get on with it. Specifically, the multiplayer. I have almost no experience with it. None of my friends played Redemption. I never had the serious interest to try it with strangers. It's not like I didn't have a World Opponent Network account. I used one for Starsiege Tribes. So I know that part worked. Until those servers went down in November 2008. And yet I think Redemption's multiplayer is pretty fucking sweet. As an idea, at least. It could serve as both a virtual tabletop for long-distance play and as an adaptation, a different way of experiencing vampire stories over LAN. I saw some of that potential back in 2000 when I ran through To Curse the Darkness and Leaves of 3 on my own, then read the design documents before fiddling with the storyteller controls and level design. Now, due to my inexperience, I don't know how stable the netcode really ended up being for Redemption multiplayer. How fun was the experience really when compared to the other long-distance ways of telling vampire stories? All I have are the reviews of others, reviews which tell a story about incomplete features and substandard network play, feedback which partly got resolved in version 1.1. I can see why Nihilistic Software pushed to get this feature done and shipped on release. So much about experiencing a White Wolf vampire story is in the group storytelling. Hard to do that without a group. But the execution at least got partly mangled on launch, and if it was meaningfully resolved, I do not have the first-hand knowledge to say. Next topic. Competition. If you followed along with Robert Huebner's post-mortem, then you'll recall this paragraph near the end. Redemption didn't just come out the same year as Diablo 2. In the United States, they got released in the same month. So did Deus Ex. So did Icewind Dale. What a fucking month. Diablo 2 has speed. It has gothic horror. It has a legacy in multi-user dungeons, MUDs. All of that like Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. Deus Ex has first-person action, strong art direction, intricate story. And Icewind Dale, it has the beatdown. Grimith, that's only one thing. Yeah, but Icewind Dale did it really well. Beatdown. Now let's look at the year 2000 for computer role-playing games, specifically focusing on the ones with any score on Moby Games. You see what's at the top? The shadow of Baldur's Gate 2 loomed over RPGs that year. Release parties and reviews compare these other titles to what would be coming. And when Baldur's Gate 2 finally did hit shelves, what did come? So all of that was the competition Vampire the Masquerade Redemption faced to get consumer dollars and recognition. That's just in 2000. Games are also compared to what came before. Let's include 1999. The list is notably longer. Asheron's Call, EverQuest, Might and Magic 7, True Love. Shout out to True Love. It's a dating sim time management. First came out in 1995. 99 was the Windows release. I learned about it through Home of the Underdogs and played it way younger than socially acceptable. Home of the Underdogs taught me about dozens of games I have since legitimately purchased, some of which have been featured on this channel, like Free Space 2. But I digress again, it happens. I don't think Redemption competed with True Love. To my actual point, if you were playing computer role-playing games during the turn of the millennium, you had many strong choices. Now let's consider something else Rob brought up. the computing power Redemption demanded. Looking at the minimum system requirements, you needed a 3D graphics accelerator. Computers did not just have those. That's why in my house, only my brother's computer could run this game. Diablo 2? Not an issue. Deus Ex? Abso-fucking-lutely an issue. Icewind Dale? Well, the manual doesn't list the system requirements, neither does Baldur's Gate 2's, and every search engine result wants to spit enhanced edition numbers at me. We'll use PC Gaming Wiki as our reference points. The footnoted disk space is for GOG's Icewind Dale Complete. Besides these screenshots, I can assure you from personal experience that I didn't need my brother's computer to play Infinity Engine games. So not only did Redemption face stiff competition upon release, it was more inaccessible than most of that competition. Not all, definitely not all, Deus Ex made sure of that. Did the high system requirements future-proof Redemption? Art-wise? Fuck yeah. I was staggered loading back into this game and seeing how gorgeous it looks. I thought the GOG version was gaslighting me. I pulled up old screenshots, I pulled up other playthroughs, I installed Redemption on a backup computer. Sidebar, in 1.0, enemy names did not change color when they took damage. Same color the entire time, Glad Nihilistic changed that. Anyway, what I saw was that, no, I was not being deceived. The style has aged so well. The art direction is fantastic. I really enjoy how evocative the character models are. Their faces at the bottom middle are so expressive. This all was great in its time and remains solid today. Animation detail, character rendering, brandished weapons, and being able to get a first-person look at it all, I catch myself pressing the Z key while playing Baldur's Gate 3 because I'm trying to get a closer look, but I can't because the game won't let me. Redemption can do that out of the box. Who cares whether it's a novelty? That's fucking sweet! The Dark Ages in particular so effectively capture the gothic horror you want in the World of Darkness, where everything is darker and grimier, but the modern times also have real expression. I could kvetch over certain elements, but overall visually, I'm good. Just bask in the combat animations and the decapitations. Mwah! Sound-wise, Redemption is more than adequate. The interface, the exploration, the combat, the expressions and exclamations. The music falls off for me in modern times, but there's nothing I hate, just a bunch of unmemorables. Years from now, I'm going to remember that the Society of Leopold and Sedite Temple tracks annoy me, not how they sound, just the way it is. But the main theme, the Prague hub, the Haven, I could go on. I'd say the most memorable modern track for me is Orsi's Factory. And that's probably in part because it reminds me of the Magitech Factory in Final Fantasy 3/6. Anyway, sound. I've got issues, but it holds up. To the abyss with thee! Ah! Samuel screaming a whole bunch. Blessed be! Dialogue. That's like sound. Well, this game features plenty of it. And it better. This bit invariably ties into a discussion about story. While Redemption's single-player chronicle is a linear story, it is a White Wolf vampire story. A story within the world of darkness. A story of horror, tragedy, and perhaps, in some fashion, victory. You need to hear and read compelling characters undergoing real trauma. Does Redemption manage that? Yes. My attitude has changed on this subject over the years. Back in the aughts, I was all eye rolls about this story. Last decade, I was like, Redemption is fine, but you better be ready to hop aboard for that love story. Now? Well, part of my motivation for doing this series is because my recent thoughts have been filled with Vampire the Masquerade, and as part of that, I started thinking about Redemption's story and whether, I would regard it differently in the year of our Lord 2024. I had purchased this game years back on GOG with the idea of eventually doing a Let's Get On With It adventure. I got it to record, and we were off. Look at Ray Gresco's words before 1999's E3. Christof is meant to be over the top, possibly even overwrought, and his horror over losing faith and then being embraced, that all drives the first half of the story. You hear it in his interactions with the other NPCs, Willem and Ecaterina, and then the horror turns into a mad pursuit of, and I'm borrowing V5 terminology here, a touchstone, a Nezka. Christof's arrival in Prague starts her on a personal journey, one he feels responsible for, and is desperate not just to help her on, but to save her from. Even after centuries of torpor, when Christof's emotional state is mostly withdrawn, if not resigned, his reason for still being is not the metaplot, not Vugadlak, not tossing Orsi out a window, that's my reason for being, but a Nezka. Remember, Her voice, real or imagined, is what propelled him into the final nights, and his dialogue works for me. Which is good, because in a folder with 1,513 dialogue lines, he has 510 of them. Who's second place? Cosmos has 25. Serena has 26. Devnol has 28. Eric has 30. Orsi also has 30. Samuel has 47. Ecaterina has 65. Lily has 68. Anezga has 70. Willem has 113. Second place goes to Pink at 121. All of them combined have just 623 dialogue entries, 113 more than Christof. And that's a real problem. One big criticism from you all is that no one else is fucking talking. It's not that the story is being told from Christof's perspective and everyone else is a different lens that refracts Christof's light. It's that the others aren't even quality enough lenses. Seriously, Serena has fewer dialogue lines than Devnol. We only get more from her because of all her utterances while in party. She clocks in at 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Her longest file is 32 seconds, and it's something I've never heard in game. I'll play it now.
Damned. Christof, thou art the pinnacle of creation. Thou hast powers surpassing even the most virtuous man. Thou art a law unto thyself, more God than man. Thou art immortal, an angel in form and power. Relish thy station, savor the exquisite power thy God has visited upon thee. Use it to wreak thy will upon a world of sinners.
I find the best NPC party member to be Pink. Willem starts strong, but fades into the background. Pink is a vibrant force the entire time he's with Christof, actively trying to manipulate the main character while antagonizing both Lily and Samuel. Lily and Samuel both stay with Christof because they feel indebted. Pink is working a fucking scheme. Eric was also indebted. Serena, well, it started off as a loan from Garanol and turned into something else. And Willem, he's more than capable of acting on his own volition, not because Ecaterina said so, but we'll never know because he does not say and no one inquires. It doesn't even have to be Christof asking. Samuel could be like, hey, so, what's the story between you two? Nope, sorry, there's no time. But Pink, he's the most real, because he's got an agenda that doesn't involve owing you a life boon. The other members of the coterie needed some more detail, ways in which they conveyed their own personal traumas, or the horrors in the world of darkness, or something. So yeah, the overarching story is a vampire story, and it still works for me, and it's one I enjoyed sharing with you all, but the Chronicle definitely feels empty at times. Meaning you put less thought into the tale of Christof and more into the actual gameplay, which, okay. I put this one off. Level design. Strong themes. Good locales. A lot of religious zones. They fit well with Vampire the Masquerade. Not the sewer, of course, but that's a religious experience all on its own, consisting entirely of go fuck yourself. Hey, Diablo 2 has sewers. Baldur's Gate 2 has sewers. Why can't Redemption have sewers? Anyway, the actual experience of playing these levels is a pain. Yeah, they're fairly linear, quite straightforward, only several puzzles in total, but pathfinding? Nope. Rob's postmortem went into why. It's a hot mess funneling your coterie through the various dungeons. It was rough back in 2000 and sucks now in 2024. Thoroughly unenjoyable. Incentivizes you not to roll 4 deep, hell even go it solo, as your team fails to path around walls and objects in various locations. The enemies suffer from this too. Can end up being a bank error in your favor, or intentionally exploited. We saw some of that in this series, particularly when combined with how enemy targeting works with lines of sight and distances, and firestorms being superior to ranged weaponry. I will say, and this is a combination of everything coming before, that I like the choice Nihilistic made to tell a story across 8 centuries. Christof's story is not 2 chronicles, it is singular. I like getting a taste of both the Dark Ages and modern times, and while I certainly do enjoy one more than the other, I appreciate the effort that went into the separate parts. Now, am I amused that Christof no-sells just about everything when he wakes up from torpor?
Yes.
Is that a bad thing? It doesn't have to be. We're allowed to have some light-hearted moments in our personal horror. Alleviates the tension. Besides, it's not like the story is totally congruous. We dust triple-digit vampires over the course of gameplay. Samuel is somehow not a walking masquerade violation. Hell nah, some more visible in modern times than they are in the Dark Ages. Oh, and Y2K fever runs wild with Koldun sorcery that is deeply respectful of U.S. Eastern Standard Time when releasing Vukatlok from imprisonment at the dawn of the year 2000. Now, these incongruities absolutely threaten the story's integrity. And while I have jazz-handsed it away during the series by depicting the metagame table between storyteller and singular player, fewer people invested in White Wolf lore are gonna buy into Nihilistic's adaptation with all this dreck occurring. Suspension of disbelief is fine and well, but everyone's got their threshold. They also have I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'll have to look it up in the Vampiric Encyclopedia Vampirica. And for the most devastating nail in this coffin, the incendiary stake in the launcher, the one pinning this game forever down, combat. I believe I pulled no punches from the start in describing how combat in this game would be and how it could go so very wrong. How the extremely high variance into hit rolls could just leave you swinging or quickly killing your foes or stun-locked by crits before falling into torpor. How your coteries' target prioritization could become a liability in either the pursuit of foes into other rooms or the absolute failure to defend themselves. How combat situations could quite easily snowball into, oh no, something went wrong, which you know is quite fitting for World of Darkness, but can end up being real frustrating for a player. It's like playing Fallout, and at any moment you could be crit in the eyes, so you better have made good use of my friend's save and load, like the manual repeatedly told you to do. Did that happen in this series? Well, my only non-demonstration party wipe came from Mercurio, because I had foreknowledge and actively worked in the early game to control combat encounters. Those Zamitzi ghouls can absolutely down human Christof, but I slow-walked it. In Petrin Hill and Joseph's Tunnels, uncontrolled combat with the Cappadocians and Nosferatu can well spiral into a TPK. Awe isolates targets and almost guarantees feed. Feed without interruption guarantees a kill. I started using Majesty in Arden's Chantry, and while the discipline is an area stun for many enemy types, you may recall how difficult it can be to slay the enemies without a dedicated combat focus. If you do not, I refer you to my antics against the vampire killers in the Society of Leopold. And Prison of Ice is a single target stun lock that even works on the final boss. I gave Lucretia, Vukatlok, and that unnamed werewolf ample non-stun time. Hell, I fought a Vazd in melee combat. Christof went down in a snap. I'm confident the internet has plenty of first-play experiences for you to sample if you have none yourself. Players who are smart and tactically sound, yet are confounded by coterie idiocy, pathfinding, and high-variance combat. There are absolutely multiple solutions to combat problems of redemption. Those even include avoidance in most cases. You just have to survive long enough to find those answers. And hopefully still have enough resources to keep going. But why would you have? Because you run into frustration with every single engagement. You go to fight, your foes occasionally make use of their disciplines, and it might even be effective. Perhaps you gain the upper hand, your foes wisely try to flee. You keep swinging at the air they used to be standing in with every movement. Now they've had enough time because you can't effectively contact them during their escape that they stop fleeing to try healing and fight again. Or they run into another encounter, and now you're risking the loss of control because someone in your coterie may be really irresponsible with their blood, or their pathing, or just fail to attack, and maybe they frenzy. Whoops, TPK. Hope you weren't playing 1.0, because then you'd have to load from your autosave or a haven save. Hope you haven't entered a death spiral by having too few resources to persevere. Being able to save wherever was a huge quality of life change in 1.1, especially in those areas where you can't walk the abyss. I don't think I would have tried to beat this game otherwise. I feel this all has been a solid, if not compelling, answer for the feedback I've received on how redemption has been forgotten, discarded. How couldn't it be? In 2000, This was a fairly inaccessible game whose core gameplay loop could be pretty damn unfun in a highly competitive market. You either got to enjoy the hack-and-slash combat presented here, or you got to enjoy the vampire story enough to deal with the combat. The multiplayer reportedly did not launch well, and Nihilistic's adaptation of Vampire the Masquerade rules, a mixed bag for any World of Darkness vet who could just play the real thing, either out in the streets or at a table, provided you weren't reliant on long distance, and even then you could have, IRC, or group DMs, play-by-play, posting on a forum. Options. I found Redemption unique because of its presentation and source material. I had never heard of White Wolf or World of Darkness, and Redemption was my gateway into all of that. While my near 24-year history with this game factors into my final thoughts, I am certainly not blinded by nostalgia. I played through Redemption again because I wanted to re-experience its story, and I wanted to share that entire experience with others. Expose it to first-timers, spark some conversation, maybe make you interested in your own playthroughs, or glad you stayed away from it. I accomplished that. I leave Redemption with mostly positive feelings. I am open to playing the game again, yet I feel no strong urge to do so. There are far more games available to me in 2024, with quality graphics, tactics, and story. I leave you with two gifts and a last reflection. The first is Computer and Video Games issue 225 from Retro CDN. CVG was the first British video games magazine, and it had reviews. Redemption's got a page and a half. Icewind Dale, most of a page. The game hadn't been released yet in the UK. Diablo 2, 4 full pages. Absolutely glowing. We've all read reviews that have been punched up before, yes, but you'll find this trend repeated, because again, the two games came out so close together, and one absolutely does hack and slash better than the other. The second gift? Voice lines. They're easily accessible from the game folder, and I've stitched some together. No, blessed be, since that's a shop call and not part of the dialogue folder. I think you'll manage without it. The last reflection? This series took real time. These episodes published daily from the 1st of February at nearly the same time. 6 p.m. EST became 6 p.m. EDT. I'm in late morning on the Ides of March, set to edit this all together, just about 6 hours before I publish these final thoughts. Looking out my window at all the plant sex to come, spring is in the air. I haven't done a full recorded playthrough since last summer's Final Liberation. This series, though I do find it fulfilling, also drained me. I no longer find sharing and telling stories with video games as easy or as enjoyable as I once did. I anticipate a torpor of my own here at Let's Get On With It. Hopefully not too long, but there are no guarantees. To those of you who witnessed the series in real time and made it here, not the first poor life choice you've ever made, right? And to those of you who have come after, boy, I really hope you made use of those playback speed adjustments. Did you know you could make me talk faster? With your own power? Incredible technology. Truly. I have never gotten on with it at such rates. I'm off to the abyss, y'all. Blessed be. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
To the abyss with me.
I am Ultra, the unliving.
You're bad for business.
Don't kill me.
Hail, good Sir Knight, and welcome.
I didn't mean to be
They
late.
do say you seek to cleanse the minds of evil.
Grateful.
Oh, these demons have brought great suffering
How
to the good
dare
people of Prague.
any enter the
Hurry,
Our
chamber
craftsmen
of
have no
house?
silver for their
Get no
wares,
quarter,
and
get no
many
quarter.
proud families now
Spring
beg
rains,
for their
tears.
bread.
Oh,
His
dear.
skill
Please
is
don't
great,
Accept all
and he
that my
fights with the
can
strength of a
provide, and the
demon.
blessings of the Lord.
Hello, gorgeous. I hope you see something you want.
Hast saved Eric of Clan Gangrel.
Well,
According to the ancient Canaanite
Hey, you're
law,
about 2
I owe thee a
acres
life
late.
boon.
You stole the place to me for a
I
song
shall
and moved out.
accompany thee.
Hey,
The luck
I'm
of
Fred
the
Bondy.
Texans
I'm in
is
real
with thee.
estate.
Time
I'm looking for
for
a
on
buyer
any
for
other
such a
night, the
beauty
full
town
force
now.
of
The bar
Tremere
from
would have
south.
dissolved thee into slop.
My newest child, Mercurio, has
Thy
proved a
death
painted
shall be as vile as thine
Though he is
offences.
ambitious and untrustworthy, he has added much.
God save and protect thee.
He drinks the power of death,
his wrath,
unquenchable thirst,
and you want to see
could
this
become the great student of the grave. But he has little respect for our ancient
Cain
alliances
is
with
the
other
only
and
escape.
could reawaken or
Follow
refuse.
it.
The ungrateful puppy even seeks to seal his crypt from me. Does he not know that I can crack his sealed crypt at any time with my anointed skull of the Lamia?
And who will ye be
Alas,
slain?
but I do require Mercurio's aid until such
Tonight
time
there's
as
a
I can
feast
fathom the
in honor
secrets
of
of
the
the
new
golem
solstice.
and gain its
Here's an
protection.
invitation. On the
I
finest
would that I had the Lord of Rabbi Mordecai ben Judah to aid my experiments. But as I lack the wisdom of the Kabbalist,
battle
I
between
would deal
humans
with the devil himself since harvest time.
It marks the first time in recorded history that
Don't
humans
kill me.
have successfully
I'm not one of the
overthrown
Setites.
the bloodsucker.
I'm from Clan
They
Toreador.
were burned, pulled from their havens, and left to bake in the sun. They call it the night the very demons shook the walls of the city, spewing flames of death. Those brave humans are our spiritual
Ungrateful
because they started the Inquisition and burned
We have a wide
countless
selection of
vampires.
vitae for your dining pleasure.
Of course,
We have
there was a lot of
centuries,
collateral
white
damage
collar
to the
cocktails,
cultists.
pink collar Jackson.
Though we call ourselves
We've got
the
young
Society
blood,
of
old
Lead,
blood, painted
I
light blue.
prefer the name.
We've got innocent, we've got
Passion,
experience,
crushed
uptown,
stripes,
downtown,
fear,
raised Park Avenue matrons, and Bowery Wine.
Ecaterina
Our special of the day is a succulent free-range virgin, fresh off the bus from Iowa, free of additives and preservatives.
They split.
You'll find it a tart blend with a crisp and
separate
refreshing
aromas.
afterbite.
The Camarilla and the Sabbat. The Sabbat sought to regain their domination over
I am
the
the wall of
Kaiser
memory.
and spurned
I contain
the
the secret
masquerade
thoughts
yes,
of
but
the
the
Nazgûl.
rabbi is dead.
I am his son,
I
Mendel.
trace this
How comes thou
fact
here?
in the vampire world.
Flee
This
now,
event.
and the great
The signs of Gehenna, Canto 4.
Uncover the legendary
So too,
Isolde Castle.
our grandsires will rise from the ground. They will break their fast on the first part of us. They will consume us whole.
Should thou see fit to grace
Hey,
my
boys.
exquisite
I've got what you
mansion
want.
in the western Strasse,
Fresh
which is a
blood.
most
Hey, boys.
present.
I've got what you want.
We shall
Fresh
celebrate
blood.
the
Hey,
upcoming
boys.
solstice.
I've got
in
what you want.
the trade and foreign lands that have so enriched Vienna. Come, sample the
I pray that my service will be of value to thee.
I have the rest of reds.
It's good to hear the voice of a fellow Frenchman.
And the sweet
Knights of St. John are far from home, but I wish we were back in France.
For all those
Well,
that wander the highways alone after
what have we
nightfall are
here?
seldom heard from
Slaves are
again.
free!
You should have
Even the strongest of warriors have been disappeared. The
world
streets of Prague are no longer safe after dark, but beyond the city, defile
my lair with your
Helmet disgorges from yonder castle and viscerate.
In their monstrous hubris, they see themselves as the true masters of all kingdoms.
thy
destroyer,
Carapace.
What is it you
A blade
imbued with the
Ancient
gift of
You
Cain,
do look so
destined to feed upon thy
They
very
have
soul.
hurt
Order
you.
of Canaanites and was cast
The
into deep
Canaanites
torpor.
have taken you.
Most loyal
But there are
followers conserved his power for centuries.
my poor boy. But fear not. O Northern, neither fear nor gather the
All right, you better be finished, and it better be brilliant.
Oh, sir, I pray for thy safety on so perilous a journey.
Milady, flee this place.
Christof Romulus.
Good to meet you.
Influenced of because these events which augur doom to all Zenitze. Voivode Erdo, Viceroy, Council of Voivodes, Master of the Hellhounds, Sculptor of the Flesh of Thousands.
What is this smack?